Good morning and welcome to Connecticut Main Street Center's second annual State of Maine event. We are a team that is obsessed with all things related to downtowns, village centers, Main Street corridors, and neighborhood versions of the same. Come to any one of our weekly staff meetings and it becomes immediately apparent that our professional enjoyment, seeking new ideas, and the best means of helping Connecticut communities extends into our personal time, spent taking advantage of the varying styles, amenities, and experiences we can have in every corner of Connecticut. Our events throughout the year are designed to invite you to be as obsessed with downtowns as we are, be they summits, Spotlight on Maine, or webinars. For these events, we focus primarily on bringing best practices in downtown and Main Street management to all those who work to improve and enhance our communities. From placemaking to small business support, addressing blight or programming vacant spaces, or showcasing towns like this year's Wallingford and Thomaston, we continue to share cutting-edge innovations from both Connecticut and nationally about what makes exceptional Main Streets. State of Maine, however, provides us with a different way to shine the light on downtowns. Our year runs from July to June, and we specifically created this event to share with you what we have learned in a year's worth of work, not only about trends, opportunities, and challenges experienced by communities across Connecticut, but also how our organization, the only one in the state providing Main Street management support and services, plans to address your needs. I think it is fair to say that we are in communities more than we have ever been in our 25-year history. We now touch 125 of 169 municipalities, and our 8-person staff themselves hail from New Hartford, Middletown, Hartford, Waterbury, West Hartford, Fairfield, Milford, and Wallingford. Today's program reflects both the strengths and the challenges that we have seen in every community over the last 12 months and what guides our next year of activities. Today, we will learn from a year's worth of data collection from our Senior Director of Programs, Kristen Lopez, panels that review policy tools, systems thinking, and development trends for downtowns, 5 keys to success for every Main Street to employ, a highlighting of accomplishments of our 2 awardees and our Main Street Accelerator graduates, and the necessity of professionals in economic development for Connecticut to thrive. And in closing, we will encourage you to stick around and enjoy Torrington with some great suggestions presented by the city's Economic Development Director, William Wallach. I can't think of a better location for State of Maine than in Torrington at the beautiful Warner Theater. Under the leadership of Mayor Molly Spino, this city in the Northwest is a cultural hub and an economic engine for the region. I would like to invite Mayor Spino to offer welcoming remarks for the day.
Welcome to Torrington. On behalf of the City of Torrington, it is truly an honor to welcome all of you to the 2026 State of Maine Conference. We're proud to host downtown advocates, municipal and state leaders, economic development professionals, business owners, volunteers, and community partners from across Connecticut as we gather to discuss the future of our Main Streets and the communities they serve. I would like to extend a special thank you to the Connecticut Main Street Center, the sponsors, the presenters, the volunteers, and everyone who worked so hard to make this event possible. Bringing together so many people who care deeply about their communities is no small task, and we are grateful for your commitment to this important work. Before we begin, I also want to recognize and thank the Warner Theater for hosting us today. The Warner is one of Torrington's most treasured landmarks and a cornerstone of our downtown. For generations, it has brought people together through arts, entertainment, and community events, and it serves as a perfect example of how historic venues can continue to play a vital role in the vitality and success of a Main Street district. As mayor, I often say that a strong downtown is a reflection of a strong community. Main Streets are where people gather, where businesses grow, and communities create their identity. For me, this work is also deeply personal. I grew up in this downtown. My mother owned and operated a bakery and a restaurant right across the street at 21 Main for over 20 years. Some of my earliest memories are of spending time downtown, meeting local business owners, and seeing firsthand the relationships that made this community special. Those experiences taught me that behind every storefront is a family, a dream, and a story that helped shape a community. Like many cities and towns across Connecticut, Torrington has experienced both challenges and successes throughout its history. Today, we are focused on creating opportunities for growth while honoring the people and institutions that help build our community. Over the past year, we have continued to see investment in our downtown. New businesses have opened, existing businesses have expanded. Property owners are investing in their buildings, and community organizations are creating events that bring people together. We are seeing renewed energy and optimism in our city center. One of the most exciting developments for Torrington has been the return of the passenger boarding opportunities through the Naugatuck Railroad excursions. By reconnecting residents and visitors to our city's railroad history, we are creating new opportunities for tourism, economic activity, and community pride. It is an example of how communities can build momentum by embracing the assets that make them unique. None of this happens alone. The future of our downtown is being shaped by business owners, volunteers, nonprofit organizations, artists, developers, residents, and community leaders who care deeply about Torrington and are willing to invest their time and energy into making it stronger. As we gather today, I encourage each of you to think about the impact your work has had in your own communities. Whether you're leading a Main Street program, serving in your local government, running a business, or volunteering your time, your efforts matter. The work you do helps shape the future of the places people call home. That is why conferences like this are so important. They give us an opportunity to learn from one another, share ideas, celebrate successes, and work together to address common challenges. No community has all the answers, but together we can accomplish far more than any of us can do alone. I hope you leave this conference with new ideas, new partnerships, and renewed enthusiasm for the work ahead. I also hope you take some time to explore Torrington and support some of the wonderful small businesses that make our downtown so special. Visit Nutmeg Fudge for ice cream or a sweet treat, grab a slice at Sasso's Pizza, enjoy a latte at Brinks or Crumbs, browse unique gifts at Kelly's Crystals and Jewelry, or check out the handmade jewelry made at Crystal Teal. Or try Tina's Cafe, who did the breakfast for us this morning. She has a delicious cranberry walnut salad that I highly recommend. These businesses and many others are what make our downtown vibrant and welcoming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you do every day to strengthen Connecticut's downtowns and main streets. And thank you for choosing Torrington as a host of this year's conference. Welcome to Torrington. Enjoy the conference and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Great downtowns rely on excellent partners in the private sector to meet their full potential. And we are grateful to our presenting sponsor, Loureiro Engineering Associates, for supporting our day of Main Street explorations. And I would like to welcome Sean Furlong, Director of Business Development, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you to Mayor Spino and the Warner Theater for hosting us today. Very excited to be here. Today, what you're going to hear is legislation impact on your main streets, best practices, developer insights, and this is my verbiage here, the importance of a strong economic development director. The challenge we have of developing economically in our communities, especially in Connecticut, is that there is a legacy of industrial sites, and that comes with environmental impact on those legacy sites. Aging and underutilized buildings, environmental concerns, whether they're real or perceived, the financing and feasibility challenges, long-term vacancies, and oftentimes, obstinate landowners. And so our goal is to make a productive use of stranded properties. Challenges that you're going to have with that is those misconceptions. Risk is often overstated. Developers assume there's a costly cleanup. Consultant hesitation. Many that you'll find are only going to provide, they will not provide a cost estimate without complete data. The lack of understanding that buyers and stakeholders misjudge on liability, regulatory triggers with data collection that activate compliance obligations. The solution here, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more in detail, is thinking like a developer. Start with the intended use you have and what is your acceptable risk tolerance. Cost estimates, expert insights, and then a phased approach. Without early quantification of risk, all you're getting is a report. It's not an actionable path of reuse. So again, think like a developer. Begin with the end in mind. A developer is going to know what you want to build, your access to your capital stack, the construction costs and the revenue stream associated with the project, and your expected ROI. Define the incremental costs from there. The developer will not know what the environmental cost is, the site-specific cleanup needs, the cost of mitigation, and the grant potential to offset those incremental costs. This is why good partners matter. Knowing what the end use is and having a plan, being intentional about it, is so important to redeveloping these sites, either on Main Street or industrial sites that can be economic drivers for your communities. So what matters? How clean is clean? What is your reuse? How clean does that site need to be for your reuse? Are you putting a daycare facility on it? Are you putting solar panels? A perfectly clean site is extremely costly and difficult to quantify to any degree of certainty. Focus on a risk-based cleanup, restrictions, using ELURs, encapsulation, mitigation systems. Perfection is wishful thinking. It's not real. It's an ideal, but you can't obtain it. And the goal is safe, practical reuse for your communities. So why does it matter? Define what matters early. Reuse, risk, tolerance, cost range. The project doesn't get hijacked by uncertainty or inflated cleanup assumptions. Better allocation of funds. This is so important in the competitive landscape of grants right now. There are so many great programs out there. You are competing with everyone in the room with you. There's only so much pool of funding out there. And so when you quantify environmental risk up front, you stop spending those grant dollars chasing answers. And you don't, chasing answers you don't need, and start using them where they'll make the biggest impact. At the end of the day, this is public funds. It's your time and energy to get these grants. Using them appropriately is part of the solution here. And so instead of another report gathering dust, you get a clear path to redevelopment and a site that delivers real value back to your community. And if we're talking through all of these and you're sitting there as an economic development director or a member of your own community or a decision maker, if you're thinking about a site in your mind that's impacting your community and has been for decades, talk to us. What we have come up with is a concept called asset revitalization. The goal is site control or acquisition of the property to reduce your risk levels, reduce your risk tolerance, and put it in the hands of a civil environmental construction firm that knows how to redevelop these properties. Use historical information of previous phase ones, phase twos, whatever's out there on the site, and be intentional about using that grant money in a way that's going to maximize the impact on that community. And so it de-risks and destigmatizes these these stranded properties. The model transforms environmentally challenged and underutilized properties into economic viable community assets. It associates risk with the associated risk is assigned to the best party to manage it. And then brings motivated parties to turn these sites into catalysts for Main Street revitalization, economic vitality, and sustainable community growth. The goal here is that if there is someone who's an obstinate landowner sitting on a site, paying their taxes, but year after year not doing anything to develop it, this is a concept that Loureiro will come in, work with motivated parties, work with the municipality to acquire that site, to break down those barriers of entry, and apply that grant money in a way that is maximizing the money that you're bringing in, but also increasing the economic growth that could be associated with that property by defining what that reuse is early, working with you on a phased approach, and at the end of the day, having a shovel-ready site or a site that's already built, ready to serve the community. And so with that, a couple of takeaways. Revitalization does not start with perfect projects. It never does. Public resources exist for your benefit. Use them. The brownfield programs out there, there's grayfield programs now. There's a number of land banks and everyone else, and there's partners that you have to be able to work with, like Loureiro and other consultants in the room today. Partnerships progress projects. You cannot do it alone. There's no such thing as a perfect project. It's great that you want to take it as a first party and you're a motivated person, you want to get it done, but you need partners to bring these to the finish line. And then the last piece I'll say is that no property is capable of being developed. It might look ugly, it might look terrifying, you may know the history for 100 years. It is not incapable of being developed. Have a conversation, talk to someone, bring a partner in, and get that site redeveloped. Thank you so much for having us here today and for being a part of Connecticut Main Street.
I would also like to thank our other generous sponsors for our event today, Main Street partners Cetus and Torrington Savings Bank, and Main Street supporters Parker Benjamin, Weston and Sampson, Project Graphics, and Spec Lines.